Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Do you have an image in your mind of what you would love to create, who you want to be, purposeful work that you would love to be doing, and income flowing in effortlessly, abundantly, increasingly? What would you do if the money was flowing in and you had all the money you needed to do what you want? You didn't have to worry about debt. You didn't have to worry about naysayers talking you out of your beautiful idea. What would you enjoy? Most religions teach that God is responsible for everything made in this world. And I agree. But as human beings, we must bear responsibility for what God makes in our lives. And that comes from deciding. We live in an infinite universe of infinite possibilities, and you are an infinite being. You are co-creating your life with infinite intelligence, with God. You've been gifted with an intellect and an imagination. I want you to take a deep breath in and let that go and settle your body into an easy, calm, comfortable place where you can allow the energy that creates worlds to flow into your experience. Allow the energy that creates worlds to touch your imagination, increase your creativity, allow you to relax into thinking about what you really want. You can improve every aspect of your life. Your life changes and unfolds as new ideas register in your conscious awareness. And you can know exactly what you want. You can have an idea, an urge to do something. Please understand that everything that has ever come into your life has come as a direct result of the image-making process. You are a divine spiritual being living in a physical body, and through your thinking and doing, you bring into your experience a reaction to what you're doing, a response to what you're thinking. And you can tell if you're where you want to be, doing what you want, enjoying life by how you feel. Become aware of the results that you already have obtained in your life, and you'll realize you have already employed this beautiful mental tool of an image-making concept. Now, most of the time we use it in the wrong way. We limit ourselves and we think about why we can't have something. I want you to forget about the past and just focus on What would be really meaningful to you once it's developed, once it became your experience, once you were enjoying it on the physical plane? I'm going to teach you a method that Bob Proctor taught me that can improve almost every area of your life. And I love watching people unfold, grow as new ideas register in their consciousness. This knowledge will eliminate competition from your life by moving you from the competitive plane to the creative plane. And you'll soon understand that the only competition you will ever have is with your own mind, with your own ignorance of the law of attraction, and just allowing life to be what you really want it to be. So I'm going to tell a little story that Bob Proctor wrote, and in his international bestseller book, You Were Born Rich, in the chapter, The Image Maker, he tells the story of the minister and the farmer. A story I once heard illustrates this point exceedingly, that we are co-creators with God. Many years ago, a minister was driving along a remote country road when he happened upon a very beautiful farm. The farm was kept in absolutely magnificent condition. The fences were well cared for, the crops were a radiant green, and although the house was set back some distance from the road, it was abundantly clear that it had a clean, fresh coat of white paint on it. Well-cultivated flower beds encircled the house and stretched all along both sides of the long, wide driveway leading to it from the road. In a neat row along both sides of the drive as well were straight lines of tall green poplar trees reaching up to a picturesque pale blue sky. The lawns surrounding the house were a deep, rich green and as well manicured as any putting green ever was. Indeed, the entire picture would have fit well on a postcard, since it was absolutely breathtaking in its splendor. Then the minister looked off to his right, to the other side of the road. Here the fields were plowed. The earth was the deepest black the minister had ever seen, and he was amazed at how the furrows had been plowed in such a way that they stretched out in rows as straight as clotheslines. Far off in the distance, the minister could see the farmer sitting up on his tractor with an old straw hat on the back of his head and clad in an old light blue pair of overalls. It appeared that the farmer was moving toward the road as he was plowing. Since the minister was in no particular hurry, he pulled his car over to the side of the road, got out of it, and walked toward the fence. When he reached it, he just stood still, enjoying the light breeze, the warm sunlight, and admiring the beauty of the farm and the farmer's ability to plow such straight furrows. As the farmer worked his way toward the road, he noticed the minister leaning against the fence. So he brought the tractor to a halt, climbed down from it, and slowly started to walk in the minister's direction. As the farmer got closer, the minister smiled, raised his arm, and waved, saying, "My good man, God has certainly blessed you with a beautiful farm." The farmer stopped, pulled out an old red and white polka dot handkerchief from his pocket with his big, scarred and calloused hands. He raised his arm and wiped the sweat from his sun-scorched brow, still not saying a word. Then he reached up with his other hand and gently took from his mouth the long piece of straw that had been bouncing and waving as he walked. He stood in silence for a moment, looking at the minister, and then he spoke. With a slow, steady voice, he replied, "Yes, Reverend, you're right. God has blessed me with a beautiful farm, but I just wish you could have seen it when he had it all to himself." Understand that images are mental pictures that are made from thoughts. And the magnificence of the mind lies in the fact that it can think. That is to say, it can tap into thought and create whatever image it chooses. That farmer must have spent countless hours and many years working that land, making sure those furrows were straight, building the house and making sure it was kept up and beautifully painted. And we know that tending to a flower garden, you must be out there digging out the weeds, preparing the beds, planting the seeds, and then they grow with the sun and the water, but they also must be tended. The weeds must be pulled out regularly. That beautiful image didn't just happen. The farmer had an idea. He broke the land, he worked it, and now it is producing beautiful crops. You can plant whatever image you desire in your beautiful mind. And any pictures that you have been placed there through your own desires, because what you see in your mind, what you grow in your imagination, what you focus on, what you think about, that's what you create in your physical reality. Understand that you can create any mental picture that you desire. You can tap into thought and create whatever picture you really want. Now, play in your mind for a few minutes and become aware of how you can flash one picture or image after another on the screen of your mind. It's almost as if you were sitting inside your body at a great theater. You are the writer, the producer, and the director of this movie that you're watching. Bob Proctor says in a wonderful book that he read a number of years ago, titled The Science of Getting Rich, the author Wallace D. Wattles referred to this thinking stuff that permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the cosmos. It's true that thoughts are everywhere, and we can tap into this thinking stuff with our mind, and we can form any image we choose. Now become aware of this truth. Everything we do is preceded by an image. We think first in order to form an image, and then we do the work. Consider for a moment how the first chair was built. We didn't always have chairs. But Bob Proctor says, I suppose many years ago when we first started to become civilized, someone became tired of sitting on the ground. This person probably started to think and began to see a picture in his mind. He probably saw himself sitting on a thing with his legs hanging down and his back leaning against something. This picture or idea appealed to him because he imagined that it would be more comfortable, a more comfortable position in which to sit. Certainly more comfortable than sitting on the ground with his knees shoved up under his chin. And since this picture appealed to the person thought of it often until a desire to have such a thing began to develop. The desire moved the person into action, and with the picture in his mind, he began to build something outside of himself in his physical world that was as close as possible a replica of the image he held in his mind. Once the thing was completed, this person sat on it. He let his legs hang and his back lean, and he found that it was good. He then called the thing a chair. The word chair is a symbol that has a corresponding image, and when you see or hear the symbol chair, it triggers an image on the screen of your mind. From that day to this day, others have been building images of more comfortable chairs, chairs with padding, chairs that fold, chairs that recline. Then someone got lonely sitting alone, and that person began to think, and they built an image in their mind of a very long chair. They constructed that long chair, found it good, and called it a sofa. There's love seats. There's chairs that move up and down. There's chairs now that move you up, out, so that you can go to a standing position. Someone got tired of sleeping under a tree, and they built an image of a roof over their head. And on and on and on we go. This world has developed because someone got an idea of living in a better world, having things be more comfortable. Bob says that's how we moved out of the cave into a condominium. We have truly built the world we live in. Columbus imagined a new world, and you and I are living in it. The Wright brothers imaged us being propelled through the air and introduced us to a new kingdom of flight. Samuel Morse imagined himself interrupting the flow of energy through metallic wires and gave us the telegraph with the Morse code. Copernicus imaged a multiplicity of worlds, and now we have been there. Through the years, history has recorded the results of great visionaries. In fact, everything ever accomplished was at first and for a time nothing more than an image held in the mind of the architect. Realize now that you too are the mental architect of your own destiny. What would you bring into your experience? What pictures do you have in your mind? Jack Nicklaus, the world-famous golfer, explains that he will not even pick up a golf club until he has a very clear image on the screen of his mind showing exactly how the ball will fly through the air, how it will hit the ground, and where it will roll after it hits. Nicklaus calls this going to the movies. And he's become so proficient at it that he had become known throughout the world. Fame and fortune became his experience. In the book that Wallace D. Wattles wrote, The Science of Getting Rich, he says, there is a thought stuff that permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the cosmos. In truth, there is a thought stuff everywhere around you and within you. Become aware of this truth and tap into it now. Use it to form an image on the screen of your mind. See yourself already in possession of your heart's desire. Imagine you already have the amount of money you want to provide the things you need to live in the style you choose to live. You are using mental faculties that everyone has. These mental faculties are exactly the same as those that were used by Copernicus, the Wright brothers, Samuel Morse, Buddha, Nicholas, Steve Jobs. You might have formed the habit of thinking that people like these are different than you are. But I want you to know the only difference between you and them or anyone else is only in appearance and accomplishments. We all live in different physical bodies, and we all use our inherent mental faculties in a different way, but our basic structure is fundamentally the same. Even Jesus tried to tell the world as he was doing his great work over 2,000 years ago that you too are capable of doing what he was doing. In fact, he even went a step further in saying, even greater things are you capable of. Believe him. He spoke the truth. If you can see it in your mind and believe that it's possible, you can do it. Napoleon Hill spent almost his entire life studying 500 of the world's greatest achievers, and the essence of his exhaustive studies and writings is contained in his great book, Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Not many people believe this, and millions of people, hundreds of thousands at least, have read the book Think and Grow Rich, but they haven't done what is needed in order to bring the experience into physical life, because it takes conceiving an image, deciding what you really want, spending time imagining it already accomplished, believing that you can achieve it, knowing that it's possible, believing that it's meant for you, and getting into the spirit of the wish fulfilled, feeling as if it's already done. And from that place, ideas will flow to you. Build an image of whatever you desire on the screen of your mind. An image of prosperity, an image of abundance, an image of health, an image of the home you want to build, the business you want to build, the vacation you want to take. In your mind's eye, already be there, and then write a story about it. How happy and grateful you are now that this has come into physical reality, how would you describe it? What does it look like? You might want to sketch it out. Use positive language, not working against what you don't want, but allowing your pen to flow and write what you do want, the beautiful image you see in your imagination, the feelings that you were feeling now that that is your lifestyle, now that you've accomplished that beautiful image, you've gone from a picture in your mind to having it be your physical experience. Tell me about it. Not many people believe this, but the ones who do prove it to themselves. Why don't you prove it to yourself now? Just build the image on the screen of your mind. Get emotionally involved with it and watch what happens. Remember, regardless of how tough things get, you must continue to hold the picture of personal prosperity. You must hold the image of your desire as if it's already accomplished. Just like the farmer with the beautiful fields, the beautiful garden, the beautiful house. He didn't just lay there looking at the land, wishing it was so. He went out and did the work. And you will very likely run up against a series of circumstances that will, for a time, almost have you convinced that you're actually going backwards. But persistence is the key. Continue to hold the image of personal prosperity and understand that what is happening to you is what must happen to prepare you to receive the good that you desire. What is it that you truly desire? Write it out. Spend some time feeling as if you're already there, and then write down whatever ideas come to you from out of the blue and take action on those ideas. There will be failures, there will be consequences, and ultimately your beautiful dream will unfold in your life. That's how everything is created. Create a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. See how much of this beautiful image you can build and take action on this weekend. And I'll see you back here Monday morning at 7. Thank you.